All right. Ladies and gents, welcome to Titans League for Nicov. Hey, Nicov. Yeah, final week and a half. He's made it. And hey, we knew this was going to happen with Nicov. We knew going into this for a few players, whether it be jobs or traveling or in Nikov's case, moving, that we were going to have some slight delays with getting the game started. Nicov is going to be playing Titans League today. He's going to be playing Titans League in 2 days. We're going to see him in Titans League in 5 days. It's just going to be Nicov, as he has to play everyone in Group A. And he is going to affect everyone's future on that table, as he will obviously have to play everybody. So, Valas, it's pretty simple, right? You come in here with 2 wins and 7 losses. Not great. And everyone else is doing fairly solid in the group. You've also got some big names. You just can't lose the series. I think if he wins 2-1, not necessarily 3-0, that Valas still has hopes of not getting relegated. You need to avoid the 5th or 6th spot. But obviously, you know, a sweep needs to come, it feels like, or at least 2-1, 2-1 for your final 2 sets. So Valas, he was a promoted player from the first season of Titans League. He had 13 wins and 2 losses in total, if I'm not mistaken, in gold. It's been kind of the opposite so far here. He has gone for the Italians, and then Nicov has gone for the Mongols, the matchup we've seen many times. And man, oh man, I've just been loving Shoals. We've seen a lot of it. I'm still not really tired of it. And I still think that there's different things that you can do if you're a player to improve upon what we've already seen. Even those near-perfect games that we've seen with the Italians. But I think Mongols and Italians are the most played civilizations on this map. Maybe like soon after that, the Lithuanians. The focus on this map is the fish towards the center, which is protected by the sea tower. And then you've got the golds on the other sides. But okay, now, I want to talk about Nicov a little bit more, right? Because we've got Nicov, Valas, Doubt, ACCM running in the group. I would have had Nicov favored to be in my top 3, honestly. I think I would have initially had said, like, maybe I wouldn't have expected ACCM to play so freaking good. And I'd expect that maybe Nicov would, like, win the race with Doubt to maybe get, like, 3rd place and then push Doubt into 4th. Like, maybe that's where I would have guessed. But Nicov was not in my relegation conversation. I felt like in Group A, it was going to be a tough task for running and a tough task for Valas. But running's definitely in an okay spot. Like, running set against Nicov. If he gets a win or 2 against Nicov, then Nicov maybe doesn't find the wins against an informed Vinchester, Doubt, and ACCM. Like, you know, maybe. I mean, it's just going to happen really fast for Nicov, which I think is what makes it unique. I mean, the whole event has been flying, but it's just going to fly a lot faster for him. All right, so we've seen instances where the Italians go fast castle. So far, the early walling from Valas, even if it's just 1 palisade, is making me think he might want to do that. Yep, look at this. Blocking this off too. Has this gold secured. Could easily do some walling here. So they're adding fishing ships. But oftentimes the Italians are okay with giving up the water and just using the sea tower early on to protect them. Am I still live, by the way, guys? My creator studio just went blank, which is probably just like the website, the studio. I'm going to refresh it, but I've never actually had that happen before. We're still there. Okay. Yup, and I refreshed it and we're fine. Okay, cool. All right. Good to know. That was a little weird. Always something, it seems. Wow, Valas is not going fast castle, guys. Valas is clicked up pretty quickly here. So this is what players were doing at the start on Shoals. It's not necessarily bad. Players have just found some unique ways to counter it. But this is going to be... And Nicov even scouting with the fishing ship? What? Hello? What? I think he set a control group on his fishing ship and he thought he was controlling the scout and he just Nicov, bro. He says, did I just throw a fishing ship under your towers? 11. And Valas says no. Nicov, You definitely did. Valas says no or didn't see at least. Nikov's laughing, and Nicov signaled it because he can see with his scouting. He can see with the scouting. Oh my god. And the funny thing is, guys, I was going to say, stop making the Nicov economy jokes, guys. Stop it. I started it. We need to stop making the Nicov economy jokes. He gets his eco upgrades. Kind of funny. He doesn't have double bid-X as I'm saying all this. He's not the same player anymore. He's better. And then he just ups it and somehow outdoes himself and tosses a fishing ship into the opponent's tower. All right, well, that was an interesting start. Nicov. It seems like there's a little bit of rust possibly here in his first series. Donating a kill to Valas. And Nicov boosting Valas' confidence a little bit by telling him as well. And Nicov does kill a fishing ship, though, so it's all even now. And this is just going to be a fight for water. Both players have their scouts alive. Nikov's scout is fairly weak. It's worth pointing that out. Valas is going to move out now. And Nicov having that scout will be really helpful in the long term. As obviously the long term, it's all about controlling the golds on either side. In this generation, it's the north and the south. And just galleys on galleys on galleys. There are some other minor things you can look to. Are you on berries yet? Are you taking additional hunt? Those are the things you think about. And the Mongols obviously are going to want that hunt. And then also, do you have eco upgrades? Which in Nikov's case, he does not. And then also, are you going to research fletching? Which we haven't actually seen that frequently. In fact, this is a surprise to me this far into Titans League group stage that we're seeing so many galleys. Because people haven't really been making this many galleys. At least after the first week it concluded. It felt like a lot of people stopped playing it this way. And I think, on one hand, ideally we would have had the players play all their games and on the weeks that we wanted, right? But I think there's pros and cons to how quickly Nikov's going to have to play his games. His water buffaloes are being stolen! Valas is stealing 600 food! Oh my god! What? Yo, this is an amazing start for Valas. Dude, Nicov has given you a fishing ship, and now you're stealing 600 food. This is an incredible start. You've got to get a win here. Holy crap. But anyways, Nicov might learn lessons too late, right? You don't get to see... You do get to see some of the other games, but, you don't get a feel for things and get to practice over the course of a long period of time. It's just bang, 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 bang. You've got to play all these sets. What is happening here? And now Nikov's scout is weak, too, so he can't really get these. And so to make matters worse for Nicov, he's going to try. This scout goes down. And those buffalo, even if they make it back to Nikov's base, they're already not there. And they're already not underneath his TC being eaten right now. So you would think odds are, with the way this game has flowed so far, that Valas is going to have the edge. And we'll see. What in the world, man? I guess Nicov didn't have a villager underneath the TC because they were sitting there. I might need to go back and look at that. Also, Nicov not having any eco upgrades is painful. And no mill here for the hunt. Oh, it's just a rough situation for him. And he's going to drop a blacksmith there, which is a mistake. And now he's dropping a barracks. He seems a little scatterbrained right now, right? Nicov is like me if I have, an extra cup of coffee before I play a game, I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I have some caffeine is good. Too much caffeine and I'm just all over the place. And you might look at the stats and it might say I'm faster, but that does not mean it's necessarily a good thing. Here comes the shipment of buffaloes, by the way. Very nice timing there. And Valas is going to click up to the Castle H. And what a buff to Valas' eco, seriously. Now, here's the thing. Nicov doesn't seem tilted right now, but that could frustrate you, and that could affect you throughout the rest of the series. And if you're Valas, you've got to be obviously, I don't actually want players to do this because they might get angry at each other. We want to keep the community respectful. But what if you were yummy buffaloes. Oh, these buffaloes taste so good. What if you rubbed it in and frustrated Nicov even more. I would only want people to do that if they were really, really good friends. Like Nicov and MBL, I could see doing. They've known each other for a very long time, and it would obviously be just jokes. But Nicov just struggling so much with his economy right now. I mean, just the wood line looks awkward. Still no mill over here. And I think Valas, not only is he in a great position to win the game, he should win this game. There's going to be no better opportunity for him to beat Nicov. I mean, you can drop the second town center and get a Vil lead. You can win the water. The sky is the limit from here. But don't go underneath the sea tower. It guys has murder holes. You're about to hit Castle Age, bro. What? Oh, why'd you have... Am I to blame? Should I not say these things? At what point am I responsible for this? He just needed to wait a little bit longer, guys. And now Nicov. He has some nice galley numbers still. He's on his way to Castle Age. And Valas might even fully give up on water. What an interesting move. I think that's pressure right there, right? That is a player who feels like they are ahead, but they're so worried that if they don't do something fast, that they will lose the game. 13-6 KD then. Valas not even getting the War Galley upgrade, despite that being very cheap for the Italians. And Valas is TCing the left side, where he'll also drop a monastery, and this will clearly be all about land for him then. The positive is, obviously, Nicov only has 4 fishing ships. Could always switch right back into Navy if he wished to. This TC I also really like because it gives you additional woodline coverage, but also it gives you some stone access. So 3 TCs. Nikov's still a minute away from Castle Age. And we actually had Bodkinera be researched by Valas, which, again, is an odd one for me, as I feel like just getting the War Galley upgrade and making a couple fire ships would have been arguably more effective. Nicov kills those fishing ships. Nikov's resources, they're going to be looking all right. He did make a stable over here, and he's going to make scouts for vision. Here's one of those scouts underneath the TC, witnessing the water buffaloes being eaten. Hello? 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 What is happening this game? Is this the Tin Can League? I love these guys. I hope you guys know I'm just joking. I love them both. Okay, we can laugh and have some fun with their mistakes because they don't make many. Nicov killed the villager. It was so bold and so ridiculous. Valas wasn't looking there. He was looking over here. He was looking over here, and he's got 3 TCs set up with half-decent food eco. He's going to get a relic. And over here, Nicov seeing another TC. So I honestly think that the scouting aspect of this is very underrated. I think having vision on the map is helpful. And will we see Valas do the same thing? It almost looks like his scout is kind of trapped in here right now. More galleys being created by Valas. No War Galley upgrade, but Nicov also shifting into eco. And Nicov doesn't have an eco upgrade. Nicov, he's back. He's back. Maybe his old apartment was the source of all his new eco powers. Nicov, get an eco upgrade, bro. Nice defense here from Valas. I love the outpost. Along the same lines of what I had said about the scouting. Outposting obviously accomplishes a lot there too. And Nicov is adding fishing ships though, which is giving him a helpful food eco to be able to afford eco upgrades. There you go. And create villagers out of these 3 TCs that he has. Valas heavy into the land eco though. 52 villagers, 2 relics. And we might even see him turn this into some type of a siege push over here. It would feel tempting if I saw my opponent had a TC here and it was on stone, right? You always want to keep the Mongols off the stone. Also, Nicov tried to build this because he thought there was a hole there. And there wasn't. But there was a hole here. Or here, I guess. And now the villager is walking the whole way around to build that monastery. Also, great job from Nicov. He has now killed that monk there with his scout. Great scout activity. And here he comes to build the monastery, but he might end up being found here by the monk. Now, who's to say the monk survives, obviously? Because the scout and the step lancers are around here on this left-hand side. Now, Nicov also is making a siege push on this side, so he'll have vision on the left. He sees the monk now going for the relic. And that's going to be a converted villager, most likely. But Nicov will have coverage on the left side with step lancers and scouts. He will have siege on the right. I don't know if he'll have much to back it up. But, you know, Valas just wasn't really able to get that big of an eco lead. And why is that? Well, it's because Nicov has 9 fishing ships. Him tossing away his navy instead of just upgrading it and dominating the water and the shoreline is made the difference here. Great job from Nicov, as he's just going to run over here. He's going to kill the villagers that betrayed him. Those villagers are just trying to blend in, I guess. We're just hunters. Don't kill us. We're just friendly hunters. Step Lancer on this side, and Nicov, if he sees that, could kill the villager. But it seems like right now he's actually just heading in to push this area. Valas is going to drop Siege Workshop. He's also dropping University and a stable, so he'll likely go for a couple knights to pick off the siege. And on this side, he's got some spears. And this game has evened out now, guys. It was an interesting start to the series, right? Very sloppy. But we might be comparing that to the Game 2 and the Game 3 quality from some of the other sets, right? It sometimes takes some time to get warmed up. Whoa, what? We've got a dock block? That's new. Dude, that's actually amazing. I hope that actually gets down. He's got to focus over here. This villager will get converted. Check this out, though. That is really smart from Valas. A dock will block off the marshland, and then the stone walls blocks off the rest. And now he shows up here with the knight, trying his best to kill these step lancers and the mangonels. But I think he's distracted because he didn't want to go in there. Maybe he did want to go in there, actually. The knight's very weak. Okay. Distraction. Will Nicov notice? His mangonels are all stacked. He could lose 3 in one shot. Boom! Boom! Oh my god, what a snipe from Valas. Man, the highlights have been here. That is why you spread out your mangonel, guys, okay? Don't let them stack on each other. They want to be friends, okay? I don't blame them. The siege, I've never heard of them really having friends before, so it's nice they have some companionship, but that was a painful one. Okay, Nicov running over here now, and he's dropping this castle. I mean, he was just trying to keep Valas penned in. It's key to him now. Valas wasn't able to get the dock block down, by the way. It's key to him that he completes this castle and keeps control of this gold, where he's had a TC for some time. Valas actually sees this because of his houses and the outposting over here. And he is also going to build houses around the relic here. An interesting decision, but I think a helpful decision. You need the houses anyways. And you want to keep Nicov away from that. Imp is also well on his way, Valas, and his castle will complete and make some Genoese crossbowmen, a very helpful unit against the Mongol army. And actually, Nicov found this now. He was probably trying to track who made the outposts. And so Nicov kills the Vil, and Nicov will make a castle to the left. Man, this has classic Shoals game written all over it. We've had, like, the funny things and the silly things. But, guys, we're going to have some eventful action here in the next stage. Like, what I'm thinking is Valas is going to be in a great position to treb this down. But Nicov is going to be in a great position to contest this side, which is not yet protected. And sure, you could make your next castle here if you're Valas, but doing so means you might not have all the army and trebs you need on the other side. And also, there are fishing ships to worry about. There's the monk walking across the middle of the map. That's cool, Nicov. Well played. Don't know where that came from. And then, obviously, the trusty sea towers continuing to take out the ships. Oh, man, if only Valas could get that dock up over here. He so badly is going to want to stop units from running across there. But yeah, as I was maybe thinking, you add a trebuchet, and then you build the castle where your trebuchet can sit beneath it. And yeah, that was... Castling the edge of the map was a little questionable. He's going to move this forward now. Nikov's got a ton of food eco. He's got 36 on food right now. But he's going to most likely or possibly lose this castle. Still can't really approach any of this. And then we have a siege workshop over here for Valas. Nicov just poking his little step lancer in here to take a look. Mongols want Mangadite. Is Nicov going to try Onager, maybe? Onager is an interesting choice. I mean, drill Onager is something I love to see. But can you realistically get the Onager upgrade with your siege workshops are here? Can you realistically use that speed against castle drops? Because that's all Valas is doing. He wants to take this out, and then he wants to castle drop here as well. He's had a lot of stone income here, Valas, and he is going to drop the castle on this side. Makes sense. Nicov could push it at any moment. He already has Nicov on the back foot over here. Nicov researching Onager, and I think we might actually see drill. Drill hype? Drill hype? Drill! Drill Onager! Let's go! All right, now, Onager should complete. Drill is now being researched in the other castle. That's actually really smart, and maybe something he could have thought of a little bit faster so he can make the trip. He will have 3 mangonels, and they will be speedy in 30 seconds. Now, bomber cannons are on the way for Valas. Now, can he wait for the bomber cannon? Oh, wait a second. Condos. Nicov didn't think about that. Oh, and it's a good attack round. And a good dodge there from Valas as well. Oh, boy. They're speedy now. Zoom. Bam. Got him. Good defense. Good job. Nicov using the Mongol siege. Let's go. Bomber cannon attack round. Misses. Boom. Genoese crossbow dodge. This is crazy micro moment in this game. Are you kidding me? Bam. Bomber cannon hits. Nicov needs more siege. He needs to keep that castle up. It doesn't look like he will. No, he will not. So I think Valas could probably just back out of here with the Trebs and save them. And still obviously be very careful with your bomber cannons and your Genoese crossbowmen. Now, Valas over here still has full gold coverage. So, like, Nikov's villagers behind all this. This is what he needs desperately. He's also putting the relics there. Feels like the Onager play has to hold Valas back as Nicov does other things. What are those other things? I'm not so sure. I would want to go Hussar if I had 2,000 food. But going Hussar against Genoese crossbowmen that have a bonus against the Cav is always a little bit questionable. And Nicov, as he backs away now, will drop another castle, and it definitely feels like he has to defend from that. I also feel like there's some crazy world where Nicov clicks Siege Onager right now. I mean, he's really banking res. He's not getting blacksmith upgrades for anything else. There's no way he clicks Siege Onager, right? Siege Onager in a 1v1. Valas has played it perfectly, guys. Obviously, he made it more difficult for himself, I think, by what he did or didn't do on water. But the stacking the castles and keeping your siege beneath the castles and bomber cannons. Oh, that's so good. Between that and the couple Genoese crossbowmen, it was just enough to hold off the Onager play. And Nicov was never able really to get the ball rolling here. And so in the first showing of Nicov here in Titans League, he loses. And Valas was desperate for victories. He didn't get many victories against some of the other players. And he gets it to start it all off here in game number 1. Talk about drama here in Group A. Obviously, we have Valas. He will have his home map Arena, which we now know will be game number 3. Nicov has his home map in Cross, which we'll be going to next. But yeah, it just felt like, I mean, just the basic things, like tossing the fishing ship away to a tower, no eco upgrades. The economy in general from Nicov was just very scattered. Villagers not dropping off hunt at mills. It felt weird. And he recovered nicely. He recovered really nicely after Valas donated the fish. Maybe Valas felt like it was only fair after, or Valas didn't donate the fish. He donated the Navy. Maybe he felt like it was only fair after what Nicov did in Dark Age. But between that and also the Italians, right? Like, that's a conversation we've had. The Italians seem to always have the Mongols' number. The Italians seem really, really strong on this map. Valas benefiting from better strategy, possibly, as we move on. All right. So, sloppy first game. There we go. Everything's updated here. We have Nikov's home map, Cross. And we have the Lithuanians for Nicov. And we have the Byzantines. Then for Valas. I love both of these civs. I feel like if your opponent gets Lithuanians, I like Byzantines so much more than I like Japanese. Yes, Japanese have the cheaper lumber camps, mills, mining camps, and the strong fishing ships, and all that's great. But the problem that the Japanese run into is more so their land options. Like, honestly, Lithuanians could just make elite skirm, and Japanese feel kind of weak. I know Japanese get good knights, but it feels great with Byzantines is you've got so many different things that play into this map. You have the more HP, the additional HP on all your buildings, which helps with the docks, or your TCs, or your walls, all that, right? Your fires work faster, so that's good offensively, defensively, either one. Town Watch coming in feudal, Town Patrol coming in castle instantly, good vision on a messy map, and then cheap skirms, solid monk tech tree, cheap halbs, cheap camels. It's like, take your pick of units you want in Castle Age with the Byzantines. Now, Nikov's map, I think it's much better to play defensive just because he's gotten a couple extra wood lines here. I guess Valas does too. But it feels like if he could choose, he would have removed this one from here and put it here. Just allowing him to wall up a little bit more. It is fairly straightforward, though, where the players are going to end up docking. So it will most likely be east and west docks initially. But the Lithuanians have the potential to damage anyone else before they can really defend it. Just starting with that extra food and then leaning that hard into the fast dock and the fast fishing ships. I think it is the #1 civilization on Cross, and it's near the top on any civilization or any map where there's a dock these days. So, which is why the previous game, Shoals, could have been an option for Nicov too. But if you think about it, Mongols made more sense for game 1 because of all the hunt on that map. Lithuanians makes more sense in game 2 because there's not additional hunt and you have so much water. Someone says, I wonder why we haven't seen Berbers on Shoals, to be honest. Pretty good hybrid map, Civ. And they have what they need to do with Italians. I don't think Berbers are a bad shout. But I think we're only going to see things like that once we start seeing best of 5. So you have to remember that we are seeing the same list of civilizations because it's the same type of draft. But the draft will be different in the playoffs, and there's going to be more games. So if it's a best of 5 in the playoffs, you can't have Italians every time or Lithuanians every time because more civs have been picked, and it's just going to be... You're going to be playing more games, which means there's more civs banned, more civs picked, all those things. So I think you might see a little bit more variation on civs in the playoff stage. But there's only 2 bans. Also, no one's banning Shoals civilizations. You do see Lithuanians banned from time to time because of their dominance on Cross. But, you know, the bans are, especially when Arena's in the map pool. Like, if you look at the bans, guys, it's always, like, Bohemians, Poles, Burgundians, Bengalis, Aztecs, like, basically because there's so many stupid strong civilizations that are good on arena maps, everyone always uses their bans there, which leaves Italians and Lithuanians and all these other civs open. Like, now I'm actually curious. What were the bans here? Okay. Bohemians, Poles, Burgundians, and Britons. Okay, gotcha. And then... So, all of those civilizations are top tier on... They are good on all maps, but they're all super top tier on Arena. Because there's a much shorter list of civilizations that I think can be dominant on Arena. At least as it stands. Okay, big moment. Valas, on the way to Feudal, has scouted Nikov's dock and is sending a villager. Nicov just now has scouted Valas' dock. So if he were to send a villager, he would need to send it now. But he doesn't have vision on this villager. However, Valas doesn't have vision on the rest of Nikov's base. Had he gone this way, the area he scouted, he might have been okay, but then he could always run into Nikov's dock, and you can see Nicov is already outposted there, so he was aware of that possibility. If you see the berries, you need to do... Oh, God. Just don't move fast. Oh, no. This is the strategy, too. It's to dock the opponent's side. I remember... I I remember a time where Nicov used a fishing ship to block somebody's dock for long enough to get a galley out, and it was one of my favorite cross moments. Let's see. You need to plop this dock down, and you need to quick wall your villager in fast. And, okay, there's the quick walls. Now, it's not done yet because Nicov can make a galley or a fire galley here still. Because you still have to somehow stop the villagers' palisades from going down and build the dock. And then you don't want to lose your scout. And Nikov's going to tower it. Interesting decision. Valas, you don't want to lose your scout here. You will be happy that he weakened it. And he's making a fire galley. Nicov is 2. Now the villager makes a run for it. Nicov also adding a stable now, so he wants to go for scouts. We do not have even a barracks for Valas yet. And the scout does go down for Valas, which is one of the most important things here on this map. So Nicov shifted over to gold. He's still got lots of food. He will be able to make even an additional scout or 2. And, oh, he also canceled his tower. Okay. Well, we'll see how effective this whole situation is going to end up being for Valas. I do like the fact he's squeezing out a 5th fishing ship right now. And the fact that, obviously, he needs a barracks. This is also really cool, too. You're like, all right, he's probably going scouts. This is kind of funny. I don't know how this happens. But yeah, he's probably going scouts. So before the scouts come out, let's try and just sneak up another dock. Oh my god, also this villager just got walled in. Very sorry I didn't show that. So that villager's just going to chill there. And he actually has no say in the matter because Nikov's just going to wall it in. And so that guy's now trapped. Actually, no, he could run. Valas could delete the palisade and run right now. Wait a second. I guess they are Lithuanian spearmen. Don't you still want to run? I'm out of here. Okay, round 2. Okay, perfect. Well played, Valas. Meanwhile, Nikov's gotten 2 docks at home just to defend his fishing ships. And we have a very sneaky dock from Valas. I don't know if he intentionally went this far to the corner, but that's where he is. Remember how much vision you have if you're Byzantines. You can see a lot, especially on water, and villager does die. Nicov also hoping to wall up. And, oh, it's a 99%. Okay, the dock goes up. The dock goes up, which is obviously huge. If you lose the villager there and you don't get the dock up, that has a big effect. At least for now, you can add a couple fishing ships, and you have to know that Nicov could be headed over there. Trying to see Nikov's scouting here. He doesn't even know there's a barracks out yet. So that's something you could do as well, is you could always bring the spearmen with your villagers, if you're Valas. And I think Nicov has defended very nicely so far. He should so easily be able to defend in this area. That is the perfect spot for a demo. Oh my goodness. Goodbye. Yeah, this has just been finished off quite easily. 6-0 KD for Nicov. It hasn't lost a single unit. And then over here, guys, he's researched Town Watch. He's actually got vision on all this. And he was keeping a close eye on it as Valas tries to come to this area, but Nicov can just make a fire galley there. Honestly, the fact that Nicov hasn't seen the archer range could kill him, though. He's focusing so much on water, which is amazing. But archers with fletching could just devastate him as he runs in here with the scouts, loses some HP. Valas, you've got to go. You've got to move forward now. Fletching's in. I think this is your timing before Nicov notices it and maybe makes those skirms. Nikov's also making archers, I guess, though. So maybe it's not too bad for him. Also, he is down here, as we would have expected. And he's going to add a dock. And then the galley addition from Valas is simply too late. He wanted to use that on the shoreline to deny the dock. Oh, that's true. Yeah, the demo, I don't know why the demo didn't show, or maybe I didn't see it at the time. Doink! Nice snipe there from Nicov. Yeah, I was wrong when I said Nicov hadn't lost a single unit. Sorry, but it's been very convincing so far from him. Let's just say that. He's 3-0 eco KD, so maybe it'd be more accurate to say he hasn't lost an economic unit yet. But, possibly some concerns for him because these archers are moving out unchecked. And he just wants to wall up He's probably pretty comfortable with the way his resources are looking right now. Killed another villager here. And most likely just wants to head towards the Castle Age, where he can go for anything from there. But realistically, knights, monks, crossbows, obviously, since he's got some archers too. And uh-oh, Nicov sees it. Nicov sees it. Now, he has some archers out as well. So Valas could take some damage there. So quick damage control needed for Nicov here. And wow, he saves that villager. That was impressive. Because he just needs to wait. Just needs to wait until he adds a skirm or two here. The villager does end up going down. But over on this side, the market's been delayed. And Valas actually really needs that market. Like, he's going to market his way up to the Castle Age. He doesn't actually have the best of economies. Valas doesn't get in. Nicov clicks up to the Castle Age. Will be fully walled on every other side. What is that? Is that a hole? That kind of looks like a hole, but maybe it's not. Nicov also killing a fishing ship here, and the market goes up for Valas. And Valas is really far behind right now. Feels like with army momentum, he's going to have issues in the middle of the map. And then the things that Lithuanians can do with the faster Castle Age also can be devastating to him. But there he goes. He clicks up. I want to defend Nicov and say that don't make the eco upgrade jokes, but after the first game, I think I'm going to allow it for game 2. And then in game 3 and beyond, then I'll give you guys a hard time. Remember, Byzantines, their units aren't that expensive. So they've got potential, whether it be camels versus knights, their own crossbows, which aren't cheaper to be fair, but then also the skirms. Resources collected right now. Wow, it's close. And also, it's 7 fishing ships versus 6. So even though Nicov has greater pond control, he hasn't actually been fishing in the north, and he hasn't really been fishing in the south. And actually, Valas is going to defend here. Look, he's not taking... This is so stupid, by the way. He's not taking any damage on his fires because of the corner of the dock. It's so dumb how you can do damage over your own dock, but they can't do damage over your dock. It was 2 versus 2. Look at the damage. Valas, great stubborn play, though, to not give up in this pond. And he might actually be able to take that one, though obviously in the north he won't have. Okay. I say stupid. It is consistent with other aspects of the game. It's just, it's really interesting how that can make such a big swing there. Nicov has 8 crossbows. Valas will have 9 crossbows. And he's actually bringing some of them this way. Which does mean he doesn't really have defense. Just killed Nikov's scout. Nicov snipes a weak archer. Well played. Second TC now for Valas. Defense needed. He's looking for the villager here of all things. Okay, that's going to be a villager. Not bad. War galley upgrade not in for either player. So they're not really having the resources to get that. Which means that could swing fight on water. So I'm not sure if it's necessarily worth it if you're Nicov. Actually, it's more than worth it if you're Nicov. It's absolutely worth it. You do not want Valas to have this pond. You already have 2. Oh, God, but he was in here. Oh, man. Dude, those crossbows need to come home, man. Like, Valas, you've got all those crossbows on the map, but they went to the north of all places. Okay, he's coming home now. Oh, God. Oh, this is ugly. Oh, man. And the things that Nicov can do behind this with control. Oh, man. Valas, quick wall. Quick houses, but you don't want to live here, people. You're crazy. Ballistics is on the way as well. Holy. Oh, man. We know Nikov's really good with his archer micro, right? But his build-up here, and even the confidence behind his micro is just insane, right? Look at this. He doesn't have any doubt in the world that he's going to win this game right now. Even sniped a 1 HP farm at one point throughout this. This is all before ballistics kicks for him as well. So good luck once he gets ballistics. You'd be surprised what he could do with 3 crossbowmen here, Valas. Or maybe Valas wouldn't be surprised. But I think some people out there watching might be. Okay, I'll get that as well. Thank you very much. You can't hit me. All right, good. All right. Still dodging. Being a nerd. You're such a nerd. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here with this nonsense. Get a life. All right, back away. All right, he was getting eco upgrades, guys. So he lost a unit. But still, he's got 12 crossbows. Valas hasn't had golds. Valas doesn't even have a siege workshop. Valas is dead. Valas is dead. Nikov's gonna respond here pretty convincingly and has responded pretty convincingly. Yeah, there's no way. A lead skirm's a good idea, but by the time you get the skirm numbers out, you're gonna have lost so much. Well played, Nicov. Great job from him in the initial defense, because if Byzantines get on your pawns, you have some annoying problems in most cases. For Valas, I think it was a scouting issue. He should have scouted better to know where his villagers should have gone. Then the surprise aspect could have actually worked out, and then that changes the rest of the game. And also for Valas, there was a teensy window. Well, not even a teensy window. Let's look at the fletching timing. Okay, look at the fletching difference. 15:18 and 19:19. That's a 4-minute window where even if Nicov has ranged units, your ranged units are stronger. And that's a period where Valas wasn't being active with them. And by the time he did move forward, Nicov was ready and defended. So I think those were the real difference makers in that game. Obviously, then faster castle age, Nicov did some incredible things. Felt like he just had the position of his units. And so Nicov finally gets a win here in Titans League. And we'll move on now to a very important game 2 for Valas. I think to survive in this group, he absolutely has to win this game. I don't have the exact data on hand, but if he loses the next game, he's then 3-9 with one more series remaining. And I think that series is up against Doubt or something. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's your home map. You're here to show that you belong. You already got a win in game 1. Respond here, and then suddenly there's a world where maybe you could pull a rabbit out of a hat and somehow survive in the final week. So, all right, scores 1-1. So, to reiterate what I just said, Valas needs this win, right? Getting that win in game 1, bringing yourself to this position now in game 3, being 1-1, gives you a shot. If you can't beat Nicov with Turks, one of the best arena civilizations, on your home map, and you also haven't been able to get lots of wins against the other players, well, there can be no dispute when you look back at it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You just don't belong in Platinum League right now. That might seem a little brutal, but that's kind of what the situation is, right? And for Nicov, you just don't want a really bad start. If Nicov goes down 2-1, sure, he's got 4 other sets, but Valas is the player who's struggling the most in this group right now. So Nicov losing to that player means that, maybe he might not go in with confidence and have success against everyone else in Group A. All right. Remember the bans on the draft. We had a lot of Arena Civs banned. It was Burgundians, Bohemians, Poles. What was the other ban? Let me look real quick. Britons, yes, okay. And those were all arena bans, by the way. I think Valas wanted to pick Turks. And so he just said, well, what's good against Turks? I think Britons are good against Turks. And then he banned it. So put Nicov in a more awkward position. Nikov's first pick was not centered around Arena. It wasn't his home map. Makes sense. But then by the time the picks came around to Nicov, he was kind of in a weird spot where he didn't know what to pick. And some people might have picked Bengalis. Nicov maybe wasn't feeling too comfortable with that. I don't think that would suit his style necessarily. Hindustanis do have bombard cannon. Their villagers are really cheap. I think the ability to boom for Nicov is just going to be way ahead of the Turks, but they're going to be most likely competing for map control with Light Cav, and then playing this towards Imp, where I feel like Hussar and Cav Archer from Turks just dominates. Forget about the bombard cannons. And Nicov might need to play heavy into camels this game or something. I don't know. There's also a world where Valas will choose to go for Janissary. The players are actually pretty far apart from each other, so I don't think that would be the generation, or this would be the generation where you'd want to try that. But Hindustanis are not bad. Hindustanis don't really have a map that they're bad at. Maybe Force Nothing or something. But cheap villagers, Imperial Camel is insane, man. Actually, I think that's what you do. I think you go full Imp Camel with Trebs. Because Turks don't have help. The only way Turks can beat Imp Camel is if they have a massive Hussar meat shield, which is going to get chewed up by the camels instantly, and then the cav archers with all the extra, firing speed from behind. But even then, Turks don't do more damage with their cav archers when compared to, let's say, Magyars or the Mongols, which fire faster. It's just the HP. And I'm not exactly sure how much that HP matters if imp camels are up against them. Dang. Someone in chat says, "Hi, Tristan. Are you single by any chance? I make amazing cheesecake." Wow, nice offer. No, I'm not single. Very happily engaged. Though I am a big fan of cheesecake. So, now I'm No, I'm kidding. She might be listening. It's just a joke, babe. Just a joke. Actually, she hasn't made cheesecake before. But I bet you she'd make a killer cheesecake. She is very, what's the word? She's very tough on herself when it comes to her baking and cooking and whatnot. And anytime she makes something, she's like, "Oh, it's not good enough." And it's just killer, man. So maybe I'll ask, see if she could make some cheesecake at some point. Actually, no, I take that back. Cheesecake is dangerous, man. It is so heavy. I just can't do heavy sweets these days. If I had to choose between heavy sweets and like heavy dinners, I think I would choose heavy dinners. What about you guys? If you got to choose between like chocolate cake or a bowl of pasta, what would you choose? Like, obviously, same proportion, right? So we're not talking like a week's worth of cake and one evening's worth of pasta. I didn't say heavy Swedes. I'm not calling Swedish people fat. Sweets. Sweet. S-W-E-E-T-S. That said, if I were to call anyone fat, I could call the Swedes fat because Fatslab is from Sweden. Okay, we have a lot of people saying pasta. Okay. There's no wrong answer here, by the way. Everyone's just a little bit different, so I was curious. And, ooh, Valas is going to Stone. So we're going to see a lot of Janissaries here. Okay. I'd choose cake and then die happily for 24 hours. Okay. Yeah, I like sugary stuff, but if I had to choose between like a warm, filling meal, whatever that may be, with like a lot of sauces and carbs, I guess, I would choose that over sweets, even though I quite like both. All right, so again, map gen wise though, once Valas scouts this map, he's going to see this and he's going to be like, ooh, that's a bit further away than maybe I was hoping for. Smart move from him, though, to bring his scout home, because Nicov will be feudal faster, meaning that he gets the extra attack and speed. So that would be a pretty big mistake there from Valas. Build order should be more than fine. A little surprised he doesn't have one more farm. I don't think that's going to be a big factor. I think he's just going to use the market if he needs it. Best cake is a pie. Pasta 100%. Okay. Well, I don't have a lot of like cakes and pies. Normally it's on holidays and whatnot. But I think I am more of a pie guy than a cake guy. But I only say that because of apple pie. Apple pie is my favorite pie. And then apple crisp or like apple crumble, which I don't know if that's necessarily considered a pie. Oh my god. Whew, that stuff's incredible. So Nikov's playing the metagame of adding scouts for map control and booming. He might be a little concerned that Valas is up a little bit later than him. If he knows his arena timings, he might know this could be a castle, but it also could just be a very eco-heavy scout build. So you don't necessarily know. That's very American of you. Is apple pie American? I feel like apple pie is a very American thing. Not pie in general. But I don't think apple pie would be as common in other areas. I mean, it's not strictly an American thing, right? Okay. 4 on gold right now for Valas. He's got 5 on stone. A lot of people think about the castle and where the castle's placed, and that's all well and good. But you also need to somehow weigh up how many villagers are building the castle. How much food and gold do you have? What are your resources like? And that's tricky for me. Like, I honestly feel like, as stupid as this sounds, having stone in the back of your base when you're going for a castle drop, or even just stone and gold in the back of your base, I actually hate that. Because who's going to build the castle? It'd be better if you just plop the castle down and boom, you're right back on gold again. These vills are going to have to go somewhere after the castle. I don't know. Nikov's got plenty of scouts. Valas sees that. Nikov's going to try a block. There is a world where Nicov could run into your base if you try and save this thing. Let's go! Oh, Nikov's like, nope, not falling for it. That's awesome, man. That would have been so cool. I mean, it was already cool that Nicov noticed it because he was definitely going to run in there. Well played there from Valas. High-level stuff all around. Nikov's going to be knocking on the door now, and he's going to see a castle. And here we go. Bam. And now I bet you Nikov's just, like, groaning, like, oh, crap. Because you don't really have a unit that is great against the Janissary. Like, there's not a lot in Castle Age that is. So you just have to hope that your economy's better and that you can get the relics and that you can, eventually defend. And part of that is sometimes what Nicov has done right here. Your second... God, I'm so burpy. Your second TC goes on to stone. So you just pile a bunch of vills on stone. And then you make a defensive castle. So you know you can't really defend necessarily. However, you can hold off the attack. Even though you can't compete with it in the middle. Any recipe from the USA, add 60% sugar to any meal, remaining 40% cheese. Man, if that isn't the most generalized pile of crap. Get out of here. Easy joke to make. Yeah, and there's a couple bullets inside of the pie, too. Every recipe's got a couple bullets. Classic low-bearing fruit American jokes. But this light cav is going to be important for Valas, because he's going to be able to use that, in theory, to snipe as some of the monks here as he waits to push out with his Janissaries. But Nikov's done a good job to just try and pick this thing off and micro away. That's actually a good micro all around. All right, steel villagers on stone. Important part of this conversation, because this could be for another castle forward eventually. Nicov also not being on stone right now is a surprise to me. Nicov seems to be a little scared. I don't blame him. Last time I faced up against this crap, I died to it. Anytime I try it, I can't do enough damage. It's really tricky. Oh, man. Oh, so many monks are going to pay the price. That guy dies. Throws the relic backwards, too. Not very helpful there, dude. And I don't know, like, Nikov's had to add so many buildings and has to think about so many techs. His eco isn't really even that crazy far ahead. Valas winning this series. Oh, this would be so crazy for him, as his odds are still really not looking good if he wants to survive. So, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. It's impossible. It's 40 hours a week of Age of Empires 2. I have to talk about results, right? It's just the whole point of this whole league. As Valas is going to lose... if he loses 2 Janissaries to 3 scouts, or 4 scouts, he's going to be disappointed. Wasn't too bad. But yeah. Capoch had 5 wins after 2 rounds, guys. 5 wins. That's great, right? 5 wins out of potential 6. Life is feeling good. And then the last 3 rounds he lost. He got swept. He was 0-9. So he ended Titans League. Now, we don't know what's going to happen yet in that group. That is a Group C. But he only has 5 wins. And so other players have heated up, and now it's looking like Capoch could get relegated. It can be the exact opposite, by the way. Right? So, like, Valas, he had a slow start. If he wins against Nicov 2-1, and then wins, like, 2-1 or 3-0 in the final series, then all of a sudden things are looking better for him. This is why every game matters. That's why I've stressed that so much. Still all-in 1 TC play here from Valas. And he wants so desperately to push in here, though it's weird to me that he hasn't even been attacking the walls. I think Nicov is showing some arena inexperience. I think that going Elite Skirm is almost never the play against this because the siege. One Mangonel and your skirmishers are just so vulnerable. But Nicov is a micro nerd, and maybe he will choose to out-micro the siege. I mean, the Janistries also have one extra range, and they also do so much damage that skirmishers die to them as well, while they do a little bit of bonus damage. The relics are also right here for Nicov. He didn't choose to try and relocate them to the back. Didn't have time to think about that. Will there be villagers running across the middle to drop another castle for Valas, or what? Kinda seems like he's considering it. Okay, does lose a unit there to the TC. Skirms pop out of the TC with ballistics. Ooh, surprise, surprise here. Nicov proving me wrong. Mangonel's now on the way. I think you back away. He's not expecting Nicov to have ballistics here. I think he just noticed. Oh, he's out microing it. Oh, that's actually really fancy stuff. Oh, let's go, Valas. Oh, let's go. Yeah. You might as well not even have that university here. Dang. Monks will try for conversions. Now the Janistries have to leave, giving the skirms opportunities. Monks will go down. Relics have popped out. And now the Mangonel is here. And now Nicov has to be careful. Overall, though, that was way more effective than I thought it was going to be. Let's just say that. He's still going to have to try and click up to Imp. Also, are you really making the monastery right there? That's your spot for the monastery? You don't think maybe in the back of your base? Okay, right where that... Okay, all right. That's a better decision. Nicov is going Imp in that T... Oh, it's Loom. Okay, whew. I thought he was going Imp in this TC. This is obviously the smarter choice. Because he might lose this one. Nicov has more villagers. He's got 0 relics, though. So monks are coming across from Valas to take those relics. It's also likely that Nicov could lose his TC and all these villagers. And it's also very likely that skirmishers still won't be enough against Janistri and Mangonel. We have Nicov coming in for his first week of Titans League after he was busy with the move. Wow, great micro there from Valas, because that was impressive from Nicov. But yeah, Nicov has all this reputation, all this skill that we're very well aware of as he tries to split away so he can kill the monk. And the monk's like, I might be old, but I can dodge. No, he's dead. But we respect him anyways. Valas needed to win the series today. He's going to drop a castle on Nikov's face here. And it's such a good castle spot. Nicov doesn't have a castle yet. Nicov won't be able to treb it down. Skirmishers pop out. Back in. I don't think you can stop this castle easily, guys. Nikov's trying his best with the skirms. Like, the creative way of hopping in and out of the TC is probably the best way at competing against this. This is maybe why Valas chose the strategy as he expects it that time. And Nicov losing skirmishers there. Now, Valas will be an imp as well. And when he's in imp, he will get chemistry. So he can create bomber cannons from the siege workshop. Not to mention that he has the castle as well. But I think Nikov's only chance is if he can get a castle up now. And then treb this down before siege comes out from Valas. We've had maximum drama results today. I hope you guys realize that. All the results that play towards the odds being crazier and crazier near the tail end of the groups have happened today. Every one, actually. Yeah, every single one we're looking at. First series all the way through to the third, and then we have the final series today, which is Sebastian versus Barles. And if we want maximum drama there, Sebastian gets like a 2-1 or a 3-0 to somehow have a slight chance of staying alive. Nikov's getting chemistry so he can try and make bombard cannons. He's going to have a castle so he can make a treb. But by the time he gets there, there's going to be 2 castles on the field then for Valas. And Valas will be able to make bombard cannons as well. Not to mention that if Valas really wants to, and he really should be doing it, Valas can get all the relics in the meantime. And actually, resources collected should be interesting. And Nikov's not that far ahead, is he? Stable will get taken out. Here comes the treb from Nicov. And Nicov also adding a siege workshop for the bombard cannon, which he can't afford. He's now making it. Okay. But you've got double bombard cannon from Valas, and you've got a Treb already. It's like he's catching up, right? Not ACCM versus running. For the maximum drama, maybe not, Marcus. But it was still a really good result for... I'm trying not to spoil on the same day. Still a really good result for the losing player. Because that win was needed. So there you go. Yeah, Valas has played this like a seasoned pro. He's playing as you would expect him to play on Arena. But I wasn't sure exactly how good he would be with the all-inning push. Because, like, Nicov, nice defense there. The all-ins are a bit different. Valas is more of an eco player. That'll obviously be a little frustrating for him. The fact that right there he lost his trebuchet. But he's going to research artillery. Oh, man. Turks were already super good on Arena, and then they changed the cost of artillery, and it made it more accessible. And Nicov! His bombard cannon was at 97%. So now he's stuck on one cannon. But yeah, it used to cost stone and gold for artillery, and they changed it within this year. And it honestly didn't make a lot of sense that it cost stone before, but it made it more difficult to get to. And we have seen artillery more this... Well, I don't want to say this year because it's been 28 days. But over the last... Ever since that patch was made, let's just say. We've seen that utilized more than ever, really. And it's just adding on to the Turks' strengths. And Nikov's skirmishers, you could see why he thought it would be a decent idea. But it's just still such a good unit, this Janissary, to combine with Siege. And realistically, what you tend to see in order to counter this type of strategy is you see a defensive castle to keep yourself protected with your economy. And Nicov didn't have that for way too long. Oh, man. Feels like Valas could make so many mistakes here and still be completely fine. Like, Nikov's making camels. I guess to get something else out there right now. And almost too much range. Oh, man. He uses the Janissaries, though, and shoots down the bombard cannon. Nicov doesn't have Bracer on the skirmishers either yet, so I think he's just under so much pressure. Everything from Valas is spend your resources and push. For Nicov, it's stabilize, stabilize. What do I do? What do I do? How do I stop this? Why didn't I ban Arena? Redemption now, thinking of converting the cannons. Again, Redemption is something you see against cannons. It's just the timing of this, right? And the flow of the push. Oh, man. Castle will go down for Nicov. Double castle on the front of his base. Look at all the gold he can't take. There's no way you stop this, man. And even if monks had block printing, which they don't right now for Nicov, they still don't have the range of these Turkish bombard cannons. Bombard cannons and Janissaries. End all be all here. And you don't even need to push for your Valas. You just hold and you win the game. So that might be why he might not even advance much further. He could go in for the kill, but his win condition is already achieved. You have better map control and you have better relics. I suppose he doesn't have as many villagers, which might sometimes makes you think you're on the clock, but crazy military, crazy game. I've seen a lot of Turk all-ins with Janissaries. We saw it in Silver League, leading up towards Gold League. Obviously, it's happening simultaneous to Platinum. The play in and of itself is actually not even new, right? It's something that's been around a long time, this type of build order. And no one ever goes Elite Skirm. No one. Because the experienced players do exactly what Valas did. You have the Janissaries out. You add in a Mangonel. And the Elite Skirmisher falls flat. And I think Nicov didn't have a bad game. But I think he didn't really clearly know what to do. And I think the only way the only thing I was thinking, let's go back. We'll go like 20 minutes. Okay, see this TC? Remember I mentioned second TC on stone? Players will try and boom, right? And get the Vil lead, which he did. And they'll try and wait and drop the castle at the last second. Like, remember Valas is kind of attacking the house here? See this? Still time, still time, still time, still time, still time, still time, still time. Super long period of time here. Now he's attacking the gate. Now he breaks through. I think Nicov could have had a castle by then. Now, I'm not saying the game gets much easier from there. But, I mean, he did have a better imp time than Valas already. And he was spending food on skirmishers. So, maybe you just kind of don't make anything. You hope Valas just takes his time. And then you just drop a castle here. And then it's a little different. Because then he's not in your economy. But Arena at the high level has a very, 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 very short list of civilizations that are top tier. And if you look at the draft, all those civilizations were banned with the exception of one or two. Bohemians, Poles, Britons, Burgundians. Turks was then picked by Valas first thing. Other civs that come to mind, it's maybe Cumans, which Nicov did pick, but he probably thought against. And then I think Bengalis. Bengalis and monks, maybe. That's not Nikov's style at all. And then, yeah, I mean, whatever civ you could enter into the equation here is just not going to feel very comfortable. And Nicov was hoping for a comfortable game. That's what I credit Valas for the most. Valas could have probably played standard this game and gone into the scouts and gone into the eco, but he didn't. He put Nicov out of his comfort zone, and Nicov didn't really know what to do. Valas wins 2-1, which somehow keeps himself alive in Group A, even though he's still near the bottom. Valas will play Doubt in his final round this upcoming week, where he will probably need to win that series. And then it'll be interesting with Doubt's ramifications, too, because, like, Doubt having 4 wins right now is obviously hungry, too. But, yeah, great series. First time we've seen Nicov. We're going to see a lot of Nicov this week because he was delayed in playing, so it's going to be Nicov. And he lost his first freaking series against a player who was bottom in the group. So, oh man, Titans League. I swear it's not rigged, by the way, guys. It's not, okay? It feels like the results today would have been rigged, and I would have somehow dictated this to, spice up the content, but they're just trying their best out there.